Imagine a time when the world was changing. Big ideas about freedom and rights were spreading like wildfire, but not everyone was allowed to share in them. In a corner of the Caribbean, on an island then called Saint-Domingue, a story was about to unfold that would shake the very foundations of empires. This is the story of the Haitian Revolution, a powerful and inspiring tale about people who dared to fight for their own freedom. It was the very first time in history that enslaved people rose up, broke their chains, and successfully created their own independent nation. This wasn't just a small rebellion, it was a revolution that proved that the desire for liberty is a force that cannot be contained forever. The island of Saint-Domingue, which we know today as Haiti, was a French colony during the late 1700s. It was considered the Pearl of the Antilles because it was the most profitable colony in the entire world. Its wealth, however, was built on a terrible foundation, the brutal system of slavery. Hundreds of thousands of enslaved people, brought from Africa against their will, were forced to work on vast sugar and coffee plantations. Their lives were filled with unimaginable hardship, backbreaking labor, and cruel treatment. They had no rights, no pay, and no hope for a better future for themselves or their children. This system was designed to crush their spirits and keep them powerless. Despite the immense suffering, the spirit of the enslaved people was never truly broken. They held on to their African cultures, traditions, and beliefs, finding strength in community and shared stories. Whispers of freedom were always present, carried on the warm island breeze. They heard about the American Revolution and the French Revolution, where people were fighting for liberty, equality, and fraternity. These powerful words resonated deeply with the enslaved population of Saint-Domingue. They began to wonder if others could fight for their rights, why couldn't they? The injustice of their situation became clearer and more unbearable with each passing day. The society of Saint-Domingue was deeply divided. At the very top were the wealthy white plantation owners and French officials. Below them were the free people of color, known as the gens de couleur libre, some of whom were wealthy and even owned enslaved people themselves, yet they still faced discrimination and were denied full rights. At the very bottom, forming the vast majority of the population, were the enslaved Africans. This complex social structure was like a powder keg, and the revolutionary ideas from France provided the spark. The desire for freedom was not just a dream, it was becoming a powerful demand that was about to erupt into action. The revolution did not begin with a single quiet act. It began with a powerful and spiritual ceremony on a dark and stormy night in August of 1791. In a wooded area known as Bois Caiman, an enslaved man and voodoo priest named Duddy Boukman gathered a large group of enslaved people. He spoke with passion, calling on them to rise up and fight back against their oppressors. He reminded them of their shared strength and urged them to cast off the chains of bondage. This secret meeting was more than just a plan. It was a sacred promise. It lit a fire in the hearts of everyone present, uniting them in a common cause to seize their freedom. Just days after the ceremony at Bois Caiman, the northern plains of Saint-Domingue exploded in rebellion. The enslaved people, armed with farming tools, torches, and an unbreakable will, rose up against the plantation owners. They moved with a fury that had been building for generations, setting fire to the cane fields and sugar mills that had been the symbols of their suffering. The sky turned red with the flames of their fight for liberty. The initial uprising was a chaotic but powerful statement. It sent a clear and terrifying message to the French colonizers and the rest of the world. The system of slavery would no longer be tolerated. The rebellion spread like wildfire across the colony. What started in the north soon inspired similar uprisings in other regions. Plantation owners, who had once lived in luxury, now lived in constant fear. The French authorities were shocked by the scale and ferocity of the revolt and struggled to regain control. They sent soldiers to crush the rebellion, but the freedom fighters were resilient. They knew the land, using the mountains and dense forests to their advantage. They were fighting not for a king or a country, but for the most fundamental human right, the right to be free. Their determination was a weapon that the French army could not easily defeat. This was not a simple fight. The revolution became a long and complicated war that lasted for over a decade. It involved many different groups with different goals. The enslaved people wanted complete freedom. The free people of color wanted equal rights. And multiple European powers, including Spain and Great Britain, got involved, hoping to take the valuable colony from France for themselves. The island became a chaotic battlefield where alliances shifted constantly. But through it all, the central and most powerful force remained the unwavering determination of the enslaved people to win their independence and build a new future. Out of the chaos of the early rebellion, a brilliant leader emerged who would change the course of history. His name was Toussaint Louverture. Originally an enslaved man who had gained his freedom before the revolution, Louverture was an intelligent and skilled strategist. He joined the rebellion and quickly rose through the ranks, proving himself to be a remarkable military commander and a wise political leader. He organized the formerly enslaved people into a disciplined and effective army. He knew how to negotiate with the French, Spanish, and British, often playing them against each other to benefit his people's cause. He was the guiding force the revolution needed. Louverture's leadership was truly transformative. He trained his soldiers in guerrilla warfare and conventional battle tactics, turning them from a scattered group of rebels into a formidable fighting force. He understood that freedom was not enough. His people also needed stability and a functioning society. By 1801, he had gained control over the entire island of Hispaniola and issued a constitution that abolished slavery forever. Although he did not declare full independence from France at this time, he made himself governor for life. He was building the foundations of a new nation, one where the color of a person's skin would no longer determine their destiny. However, the leader of France, Napoleon Bonaparte, was not pleased with Louverture's growing power. He saw the abolition of slavery as a threat to France's colonial empire and its wealth. In 1802, Napoleon sent a massive army, led by his own brother-in-law, Charles Leclerc, to Saint-Domingue with secret orders to restore slavery. Louverture and his generals, including his trusted lieutenant Jean-Jacques Dessalines, led a fierce resistance against the French invasion. The fighting was brutal, and both sides suffered heavy losses. The French tricked Louverture into a meeting, captured him, and sent him to a cold prison in the French mountains, where he died in 1803. Even after capturing Louverture, the French could not win. Louverture's last words before being taken away were a powerful warning. "In overthrowing me, you have done no more than cut down the trunk of the tree of liberty. It will spring back from the roots, for they are numerous and deep." He was right. His capture only fueled the revolutionaries' anger and resolve. Jean-Jacques Dessalines stepped up to lead the fight. He was a ruthless and brilliant general who drove the French army back with unrelenting force. The French soldiers, already weakened by yellow fever, could not withstand the final onslaught. Dessalines led the revolutionaries to a decisive victory. On January 1, 1804, Jean-Jacques Dessalines declared the island's independence and gave it a new name, Haiti. The name came from Haiti, the original name given to the island by its indigenous Taino people. This act was incredibly symbolic. It was a rejection of its colonial past and a celebration of its new identity as a free nation. Haiti became the first independent nation in Latin America and the Caribbean, the first black-led republic in the world, and the only nation in history born from a successful slave rebellion. The people who were once considered property had risen up to become the citizens and leaders of their own country. It was a truly monumental achievement. The impact of the Haitian Revolution was felt all across the globe. For enslaved people everywhere, from the United States to Brazil, Haiti became a powerful symbol of hope and inspiration. It proved that freedom was not just a dream, but an achievable reality. For slave-owning nations, however, Haiti was a terrifying example. They feared that the Haitian contagion of rebellion would spread to their own colonies. This led countries like the United States to isolate Haiti politically and economically for decades, punishing it for its boldness and making its path to prosperity incredibly difficult from the very beginning. The story of the Haitian Revolution is a crucial part of our world history. It challenges the simple narratives we often hear about the abolition of slavery. It shows us that enslaved people were not passive victims waiting to be freed by others. They were active agents in their own liberation. They fought with incredible courage, intelligence, and determination against some of the most powerful armies in the world. Their victory was a powerful statement about human dignity and the universal desire for freedom. It demonstrated that even in the face of overwhelming odds, the human spirit can triumph over oppression. Today, the legacy of the Haitian Revolution continues to be important. It reminds us of the high price of freedom and the long-lasting effects of colonialism and slavery. While Haiti has faced many challenges in the centuries since its independence, the spirit of its revolutionary beginning remains a source of national pride. The story of Toussaint Louverture, Jean-Jacques Dessalines, and the countless unnamed freedom fighters is a testament to the power of people who unite to demand their rights. It is a story that should be told, remembered, and celebrated as freedom's first thundering roar.